Oh, shit, I better hit my dab pen.
Hey, Miami sports fans. Stop by Canesware today at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. And check out their awesome merchandise selection of your favorite South Florida sports teams. From the Miami Dolphins, Hurricanes, Heat, Marlins, Florida Panthers, and Inter Miami, they've got it all. Celebrate your favorite team and show off your fandom with their beautiful team starter jackets, killer-looking helmets, team jerseys, cool shirts, and more. And if you're out of town or out of state, no worries. Go to Canesware.com and find everything they have on their site. Select what you want, and they will ship your gear to you. Anything over $99 is shipped for free. Don't wait. Stop at Canesware today.
It's back.
The green ring is running.
Bobby, sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong.
Man, I love that. I love that intro. Good times, good times. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Finstock today on the Finstock Sports Network. I'm Bobby Finstock, and that right there is the one and only Fish Tank Hank. We're back together. I have an off week because we're snowed in, ice, all this whatnot, so I couldn't coach basketball today. So I said, Fish Tank, I'm in, I'm here. And he is on the road, but he's like, I'm not going to miss this. Fish Tank, how the hell are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I've been caught up with this stupid cold where I have like a head cold that just won't go away. And it's annoying, but other than that, I'm doing great. I've had time to absorb the season and look back at the things that I enjoyed about the season. And, there was a lot of good for me. I mean, going down there, being a season ticket holder and all, you got to see some really good games. So,
hey, you know what? You got to look at the bright side. First off, Aladino's in the house. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Another disappointing season, getting really freaking old. I get it, brother. Steve Malloy, host of Real Talk Finstock. Let's rock and roll. Hit that like button. Thank you, Steve. Yes, everyone tuning in, whether you're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, we appreciate you watching. Hop over to the YouTube and do us a favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. Got a lot of great content on here. We got the Dolphin season has ended, but our coverage has not. Dolphins coverage on Finstock Sports Network carries throughout the offseason. Fish Tank and I will be here every Saturday. Well, I will after February. I will be for sure, but we are here every Saturday. Cap for life. Good morning, sir. God bless you. I picked up golfing. Don't know if Top Golf counts, but as real golfing, but I like it. Well, good for you. What's up, Spike? Good afternoon, brother. All right.
Thumbs up to everybody because I can't see you folks.
Yeah, he can't see the comments today. So if you ask a question, I will post it to Fish Tank
today. Bobby wanted to make sure that I do something, or I don't know what I was doing, but
but my goodness, look, yes, obviously I know Hank and I have not talked with each other about this season. All right, the ending of this season. I think we both agree, Hank, just to speed it up, it sucked.
Yeah.
The ending of the season sucked.
Totally.
Now, I had predicted earlier in the season 11-6. They finished 11-6, but the way they finished, this team was too talented to finish the way they did. We know that. The coach in his second year, play calling became
it made me sick. The injuries made me sick, Bobby. Not to interrupt you. I just there's nothing you can do about that. And next man up's one thing, but when you have 8 out of 12 starters that are out, that makes an impact on a team. I mean, you can't have that many people out. And then your wide receiver core was banged up. Your offensive line, you didn't have a steady offensive line all through the season. I mean, there were a lot of things to not like you're saying.
Absolutely. And, when you think of, and that's where, again, and this episode is, we're going to touch a little bit on this season, but we're going to move past it because we're looking forward now. We can always touch on the season, but we're going to move forward now. But just to say, Fish Tank, that's where, when you're talking about injuries and whatnot, that's when I look at the front office. The injury concerns of a Terran Armstead. The injury concerns recently of Xavier Howard. Those issues. And especially the offensive line, how thin you are there. You have to prepare for that. Your only two top guys on wide receiver are Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. When they're hurt, who else do you have? The Dolphins this offseason have to address that. And you know what? McDaniel's going to be going into his third season. Greer's going into his 20th plus whatever season. This has to be the hot seat year for everybody. And I mean that not saying, oh, McDaniel's terrible. No. What I mean is Greer has to be in the mindset that if I don't get this right, I'm done. And so I have to hope this offseason that's the role they're going to go in, and they're going to do their best not to get a patch and, oh, let's get this superstar, throw him in here. Now we're going to be golden for – no. You got to fix this whole thing up. So
if he can't, here's my point. If you get to the draft and I'm Mr. Ross and you turn around and I don't see things getting fixed, that's when I would tell Greer, I'd say, look, you didn't fix it before the draft. I haven't liked the draft picks that you've come up with because they've been failures, a lot of them. However, this is your last chance to get it right. But you better load me up some picks for the following year for when I get my new GM in.
So that's where, yeah, and that's where the possible trades go down. What players are gone, which players come back. I think, a lot of people watched the Miami Dolphins press conference with Greer and McDaniel, and they were upset because McDaniel was making his jokes, and there was a lot of non-answers from both of them. But I think there was a lot of reading between the lines, in regards of the quarterback situation, in regards of Christian Wilkins, the first-round pick. There's a lot of reading between the lines of what they were trying to say. Mr. Bill, Persuado Spike, G, Dolphins Thirsty, Rob in the house. Guys, everyone who's watching right now, if you haven't yet, after this show, after you subscribed, go over to Dolphins Thirsty's YouTube and website. Go check out Dolphins Thirsty, man. Great dude, great content. G, what's up, man? Great to see you. Same thing they said last year. We said same time last year. I get it. I understand it. It's frustrating. It sucks. And you know what, though? As Fish Tank has alluded to, there's a lot to look at this season and go, okay, we could use this to bounce off next season, to get better next season. Dolphins were 9-8, and then they're 11-6. How could they get to that 12, 13 wins? What could put them at that spot and hopefully get them a better spot in the playoffs and get the job done? They have to do better in December and January. They've got to. With this current roster, the window is next season. It closes after that, in my opinion, Fish Tank. But go ahead. You had something to say?
Yeah, for me, this is the last season for McDaniel. If something doesn't turn around, this is the last season for McDaniel. This is the last season for Greer and company. I think if it doesn't happen this coming year, Mr. Ross will clear house and bring somebody else in. And if he really likes Jim Harbaugh, he might clear house in the first place. I don't know.
Let me catch up on here though. Mr. Bill, he says Jim Harbaugh. This is what he is. Jim Harbaugh is going to be the new Dolphins head coach because Jim H wants Vic Fangio as his D coordinator, and Ross already made a deal for Jim H, just not publicly. That's what Mr. Bill says. Jim Harbaugh actually stated, I think I didn't listen to the interview, but I saw some of the tagline was saying that I know he's trying to work out a deal with Michigan. I think he's coming towards the end of that tenure. I know he's interviewed with the Falcons twice, with the Chargers once, but he said there's to be some sort of passing of the torch. He may go back to Michigan for one more season, finish up, giving it to his whoever coach is on the staff, and then roll into the NFL the season after. Just a tad for thought. But, we're talking about head coaches. Let's talk about our head coach, okay? And I want to make this clear, okay? Brian Flores, what he did in the few seasons that he was here, with a tank season, he won more games than he should have, went 10-6, went 9-8, got fired. McDaniel comes in, goes 9-8, goes 11-6, leads the number one offense in football, rejuvenates to his career to maybe its heights, to whatever it is, gets the best out of Raheem Mostert. One of the most fun, exciting seasons for Dolphin fans in a long time. That's why it's so disappointing the way it ended, because of how exciting and how much potential this team had.
We had a lot of talent. We had more talent on this team than I've seen in many years. It's been a long time since I've seen that much talent on our team. And I'm talking, players that are top rated, not necessarily everybody's elite. I'm not saying that.
No, yeah.
But we had a lot of top-rated players, and a lot. I hate to keep saying it, but a lot of people were hurt in that long run toward the end, that long whatever you want to call it.
You know what? And
but
I
we
understand.
Were losing games when we had people too, so I'm not gonna sit there and sugarcoat it that way either. So it's
you're not. But you're not wrong though, and we both understand though is that. Every team, that's why I know some people have said it. Every team gets hurt. And that's why, when that many people get hurt, that's when depth comes into play. And, that's why it's so important this season, coming out of this offseason, with the back end just as stacked as the front end. Not say you get stars in the background, but you get guys that like a Kendall Lamb, who could step in for Terran Armstead and play just as good, if not great. Now, talking about McDaniel, Fish Tank. 2 seasons, 20 wins, 14 losses, 2 straight playoff appearances. Of course, he got bounced in the first round. Dropped a stinker against the Titans, had a great game against the Broncos, 70 points. What he's been able to do with Tua. Tua was on the cusp after his seasons with Flores, was on the cusp of being a bust in some people's eyes. But he's had some good seasons, at least the first half of the season. What is your assessment? Because there's a lot of noise on McDaniel right now. What is your assessment on McDaniel in his second season with Miami? Some want him gone. In your opinion, after your assessment, should he be gone?
When I think about McDaniel, he's in his second year. Most second-year coaches haven't won 20 games unless they go on to a team that's already been winning. They take over a good team that only was missing a few parts. So for me, it's a mixed bag, because I think that he should stop calling the plays. I think we should have an offensive coordinator in there. He can make up and draw up all the plays he wants, but we should have an offensive coordinator in there now, because he either needs to be the head coach or not be the head coach. Like I stated earlier, if it was up to me, they would have 1 year. But I don't know what Mr. Ross wants to do. Like you said, Harbaugh might wait another year. If Harbaugh waits another year, that's like perfect for Miami's situation, because then you're in a win-win situation, in my opinion. So, but as far as how would I rate how he's doing, I'd say he's doing okay. He's doing okay. He's above 500, which isn't saying a lot, you know what I mean? That's not saying a lot. And he did inherit a team that already had a 10-win season or a 9-win season. So, there's a lot to think about, but as far as getting rid of him goes, I think you're pulling the trigger a little too early if you get rid of him. Only in his second year and making the playoffs twice. even as a first-time head coach, and he made stupid mistakes in the very beginning. He refuses to change his play calling, and that's why I would take the let him have his own playbook, but take the reins away and let somebody else call it from the booth or wherever or down there instead of him.
So let me see. Good morning, Hammer Time.
Hammer Time, fins up.
Can't disagree. In his second year, leading the number one offense, and I know about taking away play calling, and I agree. First off, no, I think a head coach should focus on being the head coach, not calling defensive plays, not calling offensive plays, being the head coach. I will say, in defense of that, playing the other side of it, Fish Tank.
Yes, sir.
He does, even though we know it's the first half of the season, the second half of the season fanned out, he is leading the number one offense in football. The play calls he's had has led that to the number one play. So maybe the thing of maybe, hey, you know what? Like you said, drop the plays. You're the mastermind. You do whatever you need to do. But when it comes to game day, you let Frank Smith or so-and-so do that. And of course, you have the earpiece. You can easily listen to what they're saying and go, hey, you know what? No, draw this up, run the pass play, whatever you want to do. But let him do it. Take a stand back and look at the whole game. Look at the whole picture. What I appreciate, he's not Adam Gase. He's not sitting on the sideline while the defense is on the field with Tannehill, with Tua, reading out what's going on. No, he is in the game, but he needs to be the head coach, not the offensive coordinator. But I'm with you too. I think my thing with this team right now is that.
So wait a minute. You agree with me?
I agree with you. I would say this current roster, the way it is, and I'm talking about the key guys. Tua, we know whether they extend him or not, he's coming back next season.
Yes.
Tyreek, Waddle, those three guys are coming back. A lot of the key, Jalen Ramsey, those guys, as long as those guys are there, at least for one more season, because we know Tyreek may be out after next season, you run it back with McDaniel, Greer, and company. Because then you don't want to hire a new head coach with this current roster because his hands are tied. He has to roll with this roster. If this team fails next season, and this season to me, it's whatever it is, because you had expectations this year, Fish Tank, and I said that if they did not win a playoff game, this season was a failure. I don't care about the records. I don't care about the number one offense. I don't care about any of that. You lost you had a 3-game lead over Buffalo. Buffalo won the AFC East. You could have finished with the 1 or 2 seed. You were the 5th, 6th seed, and you lost in the wild card round.
Hey, we should have won 13 games this season, and we didn't.
Yeah,
we didn't.
The way this season was playing out, the way this roster, this team was going, it should have been 12 to 13 wins. They finished at 11, but like I said, even though I predicted 11, it was an ugly 11. It should not have been that 11. No. And they finished the way they did. It is what it is. But I know people are saying fire the coach, fire the GM, whatever. You can't fire them with this current roster. No. I would rather let them ride it out, let them try to win with this roster, whatever pieces they get this offseason. I don't think it's the end of the world next year. I know people, it's a wrap, it's over. It's not. Roll in, do what you can do in this offseason with this current roster. If they fail next season, bring in your new guy, clean house, and let the new coach GM create go ahead and rebuild whatever you have to do. But Tua's not leaving, McDaniel's not leaving, Greer's not leaving. We got to get over it, Dolphin fans. It's and who knows what could happen this offseason that might elevate them. All I know is that they were 9-8 last year. 11-6 this year. Let's see if they bump it up a notch this coming season. And of course, they could go 12 wins, Fish Tank, and lose a wild card game or a divisional round. If that's the first,
matter.
It still wouldn't matter. It would be a failure. You got to do better. So moving on. Let's see here. I don't want to dwell on this.
Look at the Eagles.
Oh God, look at the Eagles.
Look, I'm just saying.
I know. No, you're not wrong. But look, I don't want to.
I know it. I don't like that.
I know it. Tua. I don't want to dwell on Tua today.
Okay. Well, let's talk about him real quick then.
But yeah, so obviously though he's the elephant in the room, and everybody's going to talk about him, so we might as well.
Yeah.
Hank, we've had 4 seasons. It will be 5 seasons next year. He's on the option. We know Miami's talked about possibly extending him. They said, "Oh, our goal is for him to be the Dolphins quarterback for a long time, as long as he's successful." Paraphrasing, I don't have the exact quote, but something of that sense. But and again, I've talked about this. I know a lot of people, when they hear extension, they get nervous. Like, oh, especially the ones who are off tour already. They're like, "Oh God, I don't want him to be our long-term quarterback." First of all, after a great season by Tua, not Tua, Tannehill in his 3rd year, they extended Tannehill to be a big contract and traded him 2 seasons later. Just because they extend a guy, it helps the current cap situation. So they might extend Tua, lower the cap hit, get a better money, and then it looks like, oh, we got him for 4 or 5 more years. No, next season, the season after, they could easily move it. So to those who are anxious about that, don't be. Hank, though, what are your thoughts? We've had 4 seasons. You've always said it starts and ends with the quarterback, but as long as he's your quarterback, our quarterback, we support our quarterback. But after seeing another year of him at quarterback, started off strong like he did last year, faded out at the end of the year, what are your thoughts at Tua as the lead guy?
I think they're putting too much in his hands at the roll of the dice. And the reason I say this is they're making him gamble every time the ball's hiked to him, because they want that ball out in under 3 seconds. They practice that, they go through it, and when he steps back, he's got that 2-second window, and he knows it. As he's stepping back, he better find the receiver he's going to. He already knows that, because if he doesn't, that offense isn't set up to recoup for him to run around back there. So is it really all Tua? Well, he played some pretty crap games, to say the least. He played a few crap games this year, and can we get a better quarterback? I don't see us picking anybody that's better. Are you going to get Wilson to be a backup like Dahl said the other day? What exactly are you going to go do to change it this year? And in my opinion, this isn't the year to change it, even with Tua. Keep Tua there. Go through whatever we need to, whether you're paying him for a year or whether you're giving him a contract. I don't care. Just don't overpay him. Because right now, if Tua was come in with his agent demanding $50 million a year, I don't think he's going to get it. That's what I'm trying to say. And, being first in this or second in that doesn't matter to me. What matters is what were the results on the field. And the results haven't come out yet, and, as far as Tua goes, we have a good feel of where he's at. He is not our future quarterback. He's not our future quarterback, but he is our quarterback for this next year.
Fair point. Wow, Fish Tank. So, so that kind of right there, the end was what is your evaluation at this point. It's like, hey, you know what? He's our guy, but he's not the future. He's not our guy.
Not.
Okay.
He is not.
First off, G-Man in the house. Great to see you. Good morning. Good afternoon.
I was never a super Tua fan.
Yeah.
And I was never a negative Tua guy. I said I was going to wait and see what happened. And that's what I did. This is his 4th year. This is where he should have come into his own. This is where he had all the talent in the world on the offense, and he should have been able to just plug and play every time somebody walked in there. And he was unable to do it, and I think it's because of the way they're doing all the timing plays, because he has nothing after the timing play. There's nothing there. So I don't know. There's a couple things that have to change, and it comes with the head coach. It comes with Greer. It comes with Tua. I mean, they all have to change a little bit of themselves this next year, but they've got to know this is their last year. All 3 of them have got to know, if we don't do it, The three of us are gone. We better get this done.
Yeah. Damn. You know what? That was Hank coming in the clutch, man. He is going off. But hey, you know what? Steve Malloy said, Hammer Time says, whoa, big statement. Hunter says, thanks, Hank. Persuado Spike says, Tua trash. Hunter says, Hank watches every game, and when you watch every game, you can see the blatant limitations and shrinking in big moments. And Hammer Time says, something missing. Yeah. And G-Man, Tua has physical limitations that aren't going away. Ender, great to see you, brother. Great to see you in here, man.
Fins up, Ender.
And that's why, I'm great with what everyone is saying, because I think so. A lot of people there's a contingent of fans that put him on this super pedestal at the very beginning, which I thought was not fair to him.
Yeah.
But that's what created this huge divide. You're like, oh, he's the next coming, the left hand of God, all this crap that people were throwing out there. It's like, dude, let this kid be a kid. Let him grow. Let him, whatever. They threw him on this pedestal. So then you have another contingent of Dolphin fans who are going, wait, is he? And then he's not. Or they wanted another guy, and then he's not that guy. They're going to crap on him. We know that's what I'm saying. Tua is who we thought what he was. Let's accept that. Let's remember that when we think of, oh, what's the strength and weaknesses? We know what his strength and weaknesses are. He's our quarterback right now. Hopefully the Dolphins realize what his strengths and weaknesses are and can work on that to not expose him. Do I believe? And again, he's had a great year overall. You look at the numbers, great year, first half of the season, great. But it's what you've done for me lately. What have you done for me lately? Like the great Eddie Murphy would say, and Steve Malloy brought up earlier this week on our message board. The second half of the season, the past two seasons have been horrible. It's just, lame duck, average, below average. A lot of these games, Baltimore, Buffalo, Kansas City, to me, and I know it's a team game, and I agree, the team messed up, but the defense with 27 sacks accounted for that were off the field. Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, Van Ginkel, Jerome Baker, all out. Howard was out. But within that group, Hank, 27 sacks from this season were off the field. But the defense still, in my opinion, did the best they could. I didn't think the defense played that bad. The offense, though, Tyreek, Waddle, Raheem, Achane, Tua, 7 points.
Horrible.
It doesn't make any sense. So we got to stop. I would hope people would stop putting him on a pedestal and just, he is who he is. He is Garoppolo.
I know what you're trying to say, Bobby. Let me help you out.
Go ahead.
He's not elite, but he is great.
Yeah. To me,
he's not elite.
No.
Period.
I say he's a good quarterback. He'd be great in the games, but he's not elite. Let's stop pretending. Let's stop pretending.
If you sat there and put Josh Allen and Tua together, you can't say that Tua can keep up with Josh Allen. He can't. And we got to look at who's in our division, and that's who the beast is right now, is Josh Allen. So you go by your division first. You got to win your division. You win your division, you get the rest of the cookies that go with the cake. See, I can.
Hammer Time, with all respect, we're not dumping on Tua. I mean, we're just saying the facts are facts. He's good. He could play great, but he's not elite. Let's be real here, okay? I don't know if you were watching the whole season, not just the first half, and I don't want you to look at the final number. No, look at the whole season. If you watched every game, you can't tell me he's elite. You can't say that.
No,
I mean, elite is what Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson did at the end of the season, leading their team to victory.
I would take Tua over half of the quarterbacks currently.
Absolutely.
Starting in the NFL. So what I'm saying is he's a great quarterback.
What's up, Ray?
Definitely not elite. The team has been carrying his butt. But at the same time, he's been screwed over by the offensive line. Who's our offensive line coach again?
Butch Berry?
Butch Berry. Butch Berry did an amazing job of smoke screening it and keeping us stable. I mean, we weren't pushing people around or nothing like that and making giant holes. We weren't doing that. But with what we had.
Fair point.
He did an amazing job. But that still leaves the quarterback running around with no time. We still have the same issue we've had year after year after year. The offensive line isn't good enough for the offense itself to do its job. And that showed like the big ugly bear it was when we went and played the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah. Let me just say, Rob of DolphinsThirsty.com, Dolphins Thirsty YouTube, he says, what will Dolphins Twitter do if the Dolphins give big money to Tua this season, this year? We talked about it a little earlier, Rob. My thing is, even if they did do it, yeah, and maybe they will, remember what happened with Tannehill. They did the same thing, traded him a couple seasons later. I don't think it's the end of the world. They may do it to build some cap for this season, and kind of give him a guarantee so he's at least happy, but also guarantee that if they want to exit that contract, they could. He's earned himself. There's some teams going to pay him. Let's just be real, okay? But he's not, like Hank said, he's not the future. And
he's not getting $50 million. He's not going to get a big contract.
We'll see what happens. But I didn't want to go too much. I just wanted your assessment on it. Of course, obviously, like as it did, Fish Tank, you bring up Tua, and he's such a phenomenon around Dolphins fan that we go blow up. So the Titan game killed me. Yeah, that's the game that will everyone's going to talk about.
Hey,
yes.
Remember I called the Titans.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Daniel Meeham in the house. Hey guys,
listen. Everybody's laughing. The Titans. Why the Titans?
No, you're right. You did call it. You said it before the season.
Watch the Titans. They're going to be a problem for us, and they were. It's like always, stopping the run and stopping the running quarterback. Look, it's the same thing every year. We don't stop the run. We don't stop the running quarterback. And if we do, they go deep downfield and burn our corners. That's what happens year in, year out. And the same thing with the offense. Year in, year out. The offensive line is never good enough to hold up so the rest of the players can do their damn job. That's where we're at with the Miami Dolphins right now. And I don't know what everybody else sees out there, but that's what I see. And I don't think it's so much the coach. We need to get him off of there and get things changed around. This GM needs to go. This GM needs to go because we need a GM that can bring in talent on the offensive line this year. Okay, but we have no choice. Mr. Ross is going to ride with him. I don't agree with it, but that's what's going to happen. We all know it's going to happen. And I can't sit there and say, unless the person won 1 or 2 or 3 games each year, you can't really fire a second-year head coach either. And Miami's running around getting smacked around when time comes, and until we solidify that offensive line and stop the running quarterbacks, Miami will continue to have the same exact problem it's had the past 2 years.
All right. No. Okay. Daniel, we're going to touch on the draft.
Sorry, Bobby. I had to get that out.
Let it out, brother. Let it out. Daniel says, Daniel Jeremiah did his first mock draft. He said, gave us Brian Thomas, wide receiver out of LSU. We're going to touch on the draft. I will say this, Hank, and we're going to go on here. We're going to touch in a minute. But I will say, with that number 1 pick, if we keep it, with that 21 pick, do not sleep on any position other maybe than quarterback. Any position, to me, is on the board for the Dolphins, and that is maybe wide receiver Brian Thomas. It might be Jeremiah Trotter, linebacker. I'm just saying, I believe any option is on the table. But again, also trading the pick, because if you're reading between the lines, what Greer said, he said, no promises on keeping the pick. Now, let's play some Who Would You... Go ahead.
I'm just getting my wife.
Okay. All right.
She's got a drink standing outside. It looks like she's cold.
All right. So who would you rather? That's what we're going to do next. What's up, Kelly?
Spill that.
The Dolphins have some tough decisions to make going into this offseason. Christian Wilkins.
Look at the wino. Look at that.
Oh, my. Does Miami pay up for Christian Wilkins?
Yes.
Xavier Howard, do they move on from him?
Yes.
Van Ginkel, Jones, Elliott, Connor Williams, all could be gone, Fish Tank. Who would you rather, out of those names, who are you okay? Well, who would you rather keep? If you give me 1 or 2 names.
All right, let me tell you who I'd want to keep. I'd want to keep Christian Wilkins, as long as the contract isn't too crazy. I know he wants to get paid a lot. I'd keep Andrew Van Ginkel.
For sure.
And because I think you'll pay him, but you're not going to pay him probably as much as you might other people, because you might be able to get a good deal with him, you know? Those are my 2 main ones right now in the top of my head. I mean, if X is gone, I'm all right with that. Who are some of the other names?
Deshaun Elliott, Brandon Jones, both safeties.
They're gone. I wouldn't cry. I'd like to keep Brandon Jones, but if he's gone, I wouldn't cry either.
Yeah.
So the nucleus of our team is what? Ramsey right now, Holland at safety. Then we have Wilkins, Sealer, and AVG. Okay, that's our defense. The rest we can plug and play with different players. The only ones that we don't know about yet are who's coming back and who's going to come back to where they were from injuries. And without really knowing that, you can't say the other positions. In addition to that, we got to do the offensive line. So it wouldn't hurt me if Armstead was gone. It wouldn't hurt me if they replaced most of the offensive line. I would like to keep Hunt for sure if we could, even though he got injured too, right?
He did.
So, there's a lot up in the air because of those injuries, but I wouldn't fight to keep too many of the players that are going to be leaving.
So Christian Wilkins, I like your point. Yeah, of course, who would not? No one would want to lose him, but the money has to make sense. It could be this crazy number. It has to be a fair and a reasonable number. Obviously, he has to go get his money. If he could get, and I think that's when Greer said he deserves, he's earned the right to test free agency. He's earned the right to see what he's worth. If he could get more, appreciate you, love you, go get what you could get. If not, here's our offer. Come get it. I think that's so. Miami's gonna let him ride out. Let him see what he could go get. If he can't get it, he's coming back.
Hey, man's got to make his own decisions.
Van Ginkel, I would love to see Van Ginkel back. You got to keep your head rushers, and he would play great. He's earned it. Connor Williams, he got hurt that second half of the season. We talked about how he wanted the money last year. It sucks. He got injured, but he was one of the top centers again this season. Don't fix what's not broken. Bring him in. Bring him back.
But wait, he is broken.
Well, yeah, but
hold on. Now hold on.
But he's not.
There are some great centers we can get in the draft.
But we only have 5 draft picks.
Doesn't matter. Our first and second pick, we could get some great players out of that.
All right, we're going to touch on that. But for me, my opinion, Connor Williams. I agree with G-Man. You got to keep those trenches strong. If you could keep Wilkins, you do it. You go bring in Connor Williams. He's not a weak link on this offensive line. He's one of the strengths of this offensive line. Those snaps, hate the brag for you people. If you watch those snaps, a lot of it was Tua. He can't hold on to the ball. I did with Eichenberg. There's something going on there. They got to work on it this offseason. I'd keep Williams. Van Ginkel. Howard, appreciate everything he's done. He said it already. They said, would you take a pay cut to stay? And he asked, if your boss asked you to take a pay cut, would you do it? We know where his mind's at. Thank you for everything. We'll see you later. Move forward. Move on. Get a draft pick for him. Armstead, you touched on Armstead. He hinted. He doesn't know what his plans are going next year. He's kind of hinted at retiring, Fish Tank.
Bye.
Look, when he's on the field, there's a very few who are better than him. But when he's on the field, that's the key word. When. I don't know how many games he played this season.
No consistency from him whatsoever. Yeah.
I'm okay if he decides to hang it up. We appreciate you. Thank you for your half a season worth of football. We'll see you next time. Move on. And people go, oh, who are you going to replace him with? You bring back Kendall Lamb, and maybe, like you said, draft. We'll roll from there.
We're going to have to draft somebody for the offensive line. You're going to have to.
Oh, you got to either way. You have to.
You have no depth. Nothing. You have nothing.
All right. So
you have a center and a possible right tackle and a right guard. That's what you have. You're missing your left side of your offense.
Yeah. And if Armstead stays, great. Okay. We know when he's on the field, he's great. But Miami better have a secondary option there. They better maybe they work out.
Play. I'm talking one that can play. I'm talking like a top draft pick.
I know what you're saying. Excuse me. We know when he's on the field is great, but if I'm Miami, I would hope that he would restructure. That way, he works it out where it gives Miami a little bit more money, and he's compensated and he doesn't lose any. So, yeah. Oh, go ahead. You need to do something?
No, I'm just getting some air in here.
Oh, I got you. So, all right. Now let's go on. We're going to touch on some. Well, before we do that, because I'm going to get into team needs. But Derrick Henry. Last year, Fish Tank. Last year, when they talked about Derrick Henry possibly trading him, Tennessee, I was all for it. I made a tweet that blew up. I said Miami needs to be on this deal. You add the speed of Raheem Mostert with a Derrick Henry ground and pound, and my goodness, imagine what this offense could do. They decided to go Jalen Ramsey. They kept Raheem, drafted Devon Achane. Unbelievable season for H. Great season for Achane. Unbelievable season for Raheem Mostert. He peaked. I mean, he was, but of course, injuries, which have been known, have gotten to him at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Now, Derrick Henry, the Tennessee Titans, I mean, they blew it up. They fired their head coach, which is crazy, Mike Vrabel. They're moving on from Tannehill. They're going to let Derrick Henry walk into the sunset. Henry says, hey, you know what? When I was coming out of the draft, I wanted the Dolphins to draft me. Kind of hinting or throwing a little bone to Miami saying, hey, I'm over here. One thing I think we missed in the playoffs or later in the season, especially in December, was that ground and pound back. And I know a lot of people are going to go, oh, but he kind of dropped off. Oh, he had these many carries. If you look at, again, here's Derrick Henry's season numbers. If I pull this up here, Fish Tank, that way we have it. This season, he finished with 1,167 yards and 12 touchdowns.
Almost 1,200 yards again.
So, to me, now the money has to make sense. Not saying overpay, but imagine a backfield. Even if with Raheem in there, with Devon Achane, imagine a backfield with that triple head. For me, I know what you said on bandwagon. You could say it again here. That way refresh everybody. I agree. You're not throwing the bag. But if you could go get it done, you get it done. Go get Derrick Henry. That's my opinion, Fish Tank. Yours, sir.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I said last year we should have got him. I was right there with you. We should have got him. And if we would have had him, we would have had a different outcome. We would have definitely had a different outcome because our problem was we weren't able to pick up 3 to 4 yards each run. With Derrick Henry, you could pick up 3 to 4 yards each run. It's just that simple. And, some people say he's a distraction toy and whatever else, but I'll tell you, Derrick Henry, he would make a difference. But like you said, you can't overpay because he is at the end of his career. You don't want to overpay.
No, and I will say, and that's part of it too, Cap. We touched on this, Cap, on postgame. I believe it was postgame. Look, we were trying to figure out why McDaniel loves to get away from the run. And I think it was may have been our postgame or maybe on Battered Fins. But, they were like, oh, Danny, I believe, of Battered Fins was saying, well, McDaniel's more of a passing coach. But why is he a passing game coach? Why does he like to pass the ball? Why? Because he has Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. That's why. He has Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. When he
it was just like when Shula had Marino. What are you gonna do? Leave him sit there? No, you're gonna use him.
And when he was in San Francisco, he ran the ball. He was a run game coordinator. He had one of the best running games with Deebo Samuel and so forth. And they traded for McCaffrey when they had a legit running game. I know people like Kenna right there. And Kenna, great to see you, brother. California in the house. You go, you can't. He says we don't need Henry. I understand that. Raheem Mostert did really well for you this year. You think he's going to do that next year at his age? You think, and not that I'm saying he's going to be bad, but what did we miss in those playoff games? Why did McDaniel feel so comfortable taking the ball out of an 18 touchdown player in Raheem Mostert? Why did he feel so comfortable taking the ball away from a stud rookie back in Devon Achane?
Exactly.
He wanted to get a Tyreek. But if you have a Derrick Henry back there in your backfield, you have him right there. How the hell on 3rd and short are you going to decide to throw a screen pass and get or 4th down, throw a screen pass and get stopped? No, you're going to go, holy crap, I got to go give it to Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
that's what he does.
The screen pass is always behind the damn line of scrimmage.
I know. Why are we doing that on 4th down? Why is he not trusting his running backs? Because we don't have the ground and pound back. Go get him. He wants to be here. You don't have to throw the back, but go get him. We do need a Derrick Henry. Think about that triple threat. Think about that King Ghidorah, that 3-headed dragon that we'll have back there with Raheem, Derrick Henry, and Devon Achane. That's my opinion. Everyone has a right to it. That's mine. You go get him. We do need him.
I like your opinion.
Thank you. There's no running away from there's no being a prisoner of the passing game. You have a 3-headed monster behind you, and you got 2 stars right here, and you go draft a star or go get another stud receiver in the draft or free agency, and now you're golden. Give all the reps you need to Tua. It don't matter. It don't matter. He wants to win a championship. Miami wants to win a championship. He doesn't need 15 to 20 carries. You go get him. He wants to win. He's committed to win. He's not going to need it. Okay? But that way, maybe McDaniel's forced to looking at the pass only. If you have someone like Derrick Henry back there, he ain't forced to do nothing. He is free reign. All right. At this point, moving on.
I got to get out of here soon.
I know. Like I said, you're more than welcome to let me know, and I'll pop it up. I'll keep going. But, all right. Moving on to team needs. Fish Tank.
Yes, sir.
So, these are my thoughts of what team needs are, Fish Tank. You let me know if you agree, disagree, or if I'm missing someone. So right now, offensive line. Even if Armstead comes back, you need a left tackle, someone to be behind Armstead or to replace Armstead.
Well, I think I've already agreed when I said that the left side of our line sucks.
Yeah, you said it. Left guard, left tackle, and possibly center if Connor doesn't come back. Linebacker, edge rusher, defensive line. That means defensive tackle, tight end, receiver. You need someone behind Waddle and Tyreek. Defensive back.
You need a hand slot guy is what you need.
I think, Fish Tank, you need a 6'4", 6'3", 200 and something. But you need someone that doesn't take away from your speed, but you need some physicality on that offense. You need a big bodied DK Metcalf type of guy would be great to have with one of these guys. And then a punter. Jake Bailey, I know. Jake Bailey, appreciate you. Thank you. You're a free agent. Goodbye. I think a punter. We need a punter. Hopefully not in the draft, but that's another need. Anything I'm missing from here, Fish Tank?
No, you got them all, I think, except cornerback.
Team needs. That's great.
What happened to cornerback?
You said corner?
Yeah.
I have corner down here.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, defensive back, corner, and safety.
Oh, all right. My bad.
That's right here. Right here, G-Man. You're absolutely freaking right. Correct, sir. I agree with you 1,000%. Linebacker, damn it. Yes. All right. So, now, what are the picks the Dolphins have in this draft? They got the 21st overall pick, and now these other picks could change depending on how it falls out, but right now, 21, 53 in round 1 and 2. Then they got 2 fifth-round picks, 157, 186. They got round 6, round 7, 199, 242. I think some players could be moved, and maybe a 3rd or 4th round pick could be added here, but we will see. That's currently what they have. Chris Greer has stated that he was asked. They said, "Are you planning? You haven't had a 1st round pick in the last 2 seasons. Are you planning on keeping this pick?" His answer: no promises. Even though McDaniel would love to have a 1st round pick, no promises. And even Mike McDaniel kind of looked at him and smirked. Miami may have a plan up their sleeve, to do something. I don't know what, but no promises. All right. Fish Tank. Pick
Yes,
with
sir.
the number one, the 21 pick. Let's go through the history very quick, sir. Here's some of the players picked, the notable picks with the 21st overall selection in the NFL draft. Vince Wilfork from the Patriots, defensive line. That's a big one. Alex Mack, center for the Browns. Chandler Jones, linebacker, Patriots. Clinton Dix from the Packers. Gerard Davis, linebacker for the Lions. Trent McDuffie, who really did a hell of a job against us in the playoffs and in Germany. And then Quentin Johnson this season, I believe, with the Chargers. Look, that's, to me, that just screams that we could get a very good, great player with the 21 overall pick. There's a lot of good players in this draft. Possible picks at 21, Fish Tank. Jatavion Sanders, tight end from Clemson. Cornerback, Cooper DeJean from Iowa, or DeJean, excuse me. Linebacker, Jeremiah Trotter. You brought him up on Finn's bandwagon.
That's my guy right there.
Defensive lineman, Leonard Taylor from Miami. Tackle, Graham Burton from Duke. Wide receiver, Brian Thomas, LSU. And Cameron Kinchins, safety from Miami. This is obviously not all of them. These are possible picks. But you say, man, Jeremiah Trotter. Why Jeremiah Trotter for you possibly at 21?
Why possibly? Okay. Well, he's probably one of the better linebackers in this draft, first of all. His pedigree, where he comes from, he knows football. He understands football. And having a linebacker that can read offenses and do all that, I want him on our team. I just think he's a great talent. I haven't watched a lot of film on him yet. I just read a synopsis on him so far.
I understand.
And what I got from reading that synopsis is he's a dang good player. And we could use a linebacker. So I like him.
Yeah, absolutely. We could use a linebacker. Does Miami do it? They're
going to not do it. Like everything.
Yeah,
they'll pick somebody that's rated 100 and something for offensive tackle is what they'll do.
A name. Yeah, right. I know. Exactly.
Some name you've never even heard of, they'll pick, and that'll be our new offensive tackle on the left side.
Hey, and I wouldn't say Chubb is a dud. Bradley Chubb is not a dud, but we need a Mike linebacker. We need someone next to Jerome Baker. You need someone like that. Those guys, even though they say linebacker next to their names, those guys are edge rushers. Van Ginkel and Chubb and Phillips still say linebacker, but they're not. We're talking about a Mike middle linebacker. Edrin Cooper from Texas A&M is a good one. He's someone who's in coverage, who could break free and cover the tight end. We need that. Tommy Eichenberg is another one. I know Eichenberg scares some people, but this one's different. There's a lot of good players in this draft, and I believe. Let me make sure here I get the right one. Daniel said we're going to have to trade down. We might. That might be what Miami might have to do in order to get more picks. It's going to suck because I know a lot of people want that first round pick, but Miami has so many needs, and which some people say, man, that list is a whole team. We have so many needs that Miami might have to trade down, gain a lot more picks so they could fill out that roster with some good depth. Hopefully. Is there anybody out there before we wrap this up? Is there one name that you guys would love Miami to target this offseason, whether free agency or draft? I'd love to get that up.
Kingsley.
Offensive tackle?
I believe he's either an OT or an OG.
I think he's OT. I think he's for BYU, I believe. Kingsley. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I like him.
Hunter says Caleb Williams. I should say realistic.
Yeah, you should have said somebody realistic, Bobby, because obviously we're not getting a number one pick.
Yeah, we're not. I doubt Miami's going to do. I mean, unless it goes crazy. But if you're talking quarterback, like I know Caleb Williams is going. It just joke. Just saying, like if we had to pick guy, I know it says Caleb Williams. I like Caleb. Not taking anything away from him. Jaden Daniels would fit really good with this offense. The speed, he would go great with Tyreek and Jalen. But Bo Nix from Oregon, Fish Tank's old neck of the woods. That dude looks really good. There's a few players that
J.J. McCarthy
from Michigan. There's a few of them, but
you know about Ross and his Michigan players.
Well, first we know our head coach once, but our general manager is willing to trade away. What do we do? Yeah, another season of doing the draft simulator. That's right.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But all right. Hey guys, listen. Hank is about to wrap up himself. He has to go and have some fun. So we're gonna wrap this up.
I'm going gambling.
There you go. Can't get any better than that. Why not? There's no playoff football for Miami. But there is some playoff football. Oh, Daniel Meehan comes in the clutch. He says Jatavion Sanders, tight end, who we just talked about from Texas. Wide receiver, Xavier Legette, 6'3", 227 pounds, 4.3 speed. Love that, dude. And James Power Johnson from the center. I saw him too. Very good. Love those guys. Tight end, I will say too. TCU, Jared Riley.
Really?
Great, 6'7", good receiver, blocker.
I have to look it up.
Jared Riley, TCU. Love what I've seen from that guy. But guys, Fitz Talk today. Fitz Talk Sports Network. We're going to have you covered with all offseason draft content. If you haven't yet, hit that like and subscribe button. Fish Tank Ike and I will be back. Fitz Talk today will be back next Saturday. Tune in. We appreciate you. Fish Tank, any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Yeah, Bobby, I missed you, buddy.
Aw.
Nice to have you back so I don't have to do all that work.
It's a lot. You seem more comfortable right now. You're just chilling. I get you.
I'm sorry I have the glasses on, guys, but the sun's kind of coming in this way.
No worries, brother. No worries.
It's all good. And when it starts shining off my bald dome. Hey, here's what I got. Anybody got a lucky number for the roulette wheel?
My lucky number is 8 or 88. So you can roll with that.
8. We got an 8. Anybody else? Mine is 13.
Ooh. 13 and 8. Okay. 32 or 34. I don't know if
I like 34 black, I believe it is. 32. Well, 32 red. 32 is red, so 34 is probably red then. Okay.
13 red for Ray Finkel as well. So there you go. All right, guys. Well, that's Fish Tank Hank. I'm Bobby Finstock. We appreciate you. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Like, subscribe. Most importantly, as always, Fins up.
Fins up.